Welcome to MBC, where we talk money. We've got banter. We're doing it for the culture. Serial winner. Jeez.
Hello guys, welcome to MBC, Money, Banter, Culture, where we talk money. We've got banter and we're doing it for the culture. We've got myself, Izzy.
Jermaine.
And we got Yoms.
And we would like to say thank you to our two special guests who are here to talk to us about his and her money. So would you like to introduce yourself, ladies?
Shirts. I go by the name of Miss Charisse. I am Miss _Charisse on Instagram, by the way.
Already.
So what do you want to know about me?
I don't know, just give the crowd a bit of an
Okay, so I'm
about
25 years old. I left my job 2 months ago to run my own business. Part-time, my hobbies, I love to do YouTube. I vlog a lot and I travel.
Oh, nice.
Hi guys, my name's Esther. I'm 24, currently in finance, run a social enterprise on the side.
Jeez.
What are my hobbies? I love theatre. I'm big on theatre and performing arts and vocals and instruments, all of that stuff.
So you're a singer?
I didn't say that, but yeah, I come from a very musical family, pastor's daughter, that's a cool fact. That's me. Hi guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us guys.
It's a pleasure to have you both here, after obviously our first episode.
Yeah.
It was just heavily focused on the male side of things, so we needed...
You need us.
Some female voices. Absolutely.
Here we are.
And so I guess I think we should just go straight into it. And
Yeah, why not?
I think some of the stuff that we talked about in the last episode, one of the big points we were making, we were talking about, females earning more than males.
Yeah.
So I guess from your perspective, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about you earning more than your
I love
counterpart?
that. I love that type of thing.
You love that?
Yeah, why not?
So,
Hold on.
Okay.
Please explain it.
Can I just ask a clarifying question?
No.
Are we talking relationships in general? Are we talking within a marriage, as in what we would be comfortable or uncomfortable with within a unit? Because to me there are distinctions, right? So I just want to clarify what we're talking about here.
all right.
I think we're talking about relationships.
No,
Yeah.
we'll say
A
relationships.
serious relationship.
Yeah, serious relationship.
None of us are married here, so serious relationship.
No, but
yeah.
you
So,
say
but
serious
it's a
relationship.
relationship segueing into marriage. I
Yeah,
guess.
so a serious relationship.
So what you want your dynamic to essentially be, do you want to be in a relationship with a guy that you earn more than, and then eventually you're gonna get married and you still be earning more than him? Is that what you want, or is that the dynamic you're trying to set?
I think you should ask the right question. Is there an issue with that?
So do we have issues with earning more than
you
our
guys.
significant others in a
Yeah.
serious relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question.
Me, myself, no, I don't have an issue with that. I think that's perfectly acceptable. We're in the 21st century. There are women nowadays earning a lot more than men. So it kind of is I feel like it's going to become normal. Me, myself, I like the
It's a normal.
Already.
it's going to eventually normalise.
Where?
And I think, for me, myself, I kind of like that type of power. I love that.
Oh wow.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Taking it.
Hold on. I agree with everything.
Okay, no. Let me just say one thing.
Until the power aspect.
Not
Don't
power.
you think that's kind of putting the guy down a little bit?
No, as in if I
Open to
want.
equality.
Okay.
No, I mean power. I don't mind a woman earning more or whatever, but it's the power. It kind of sounds a bit like.
When she
I think that was an interesting
When she
statement, but
earns
she didn't finish.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay,
The power part, not to control him or put him down or make him feel less. The power in me, myself, I can do what I want whenever I want. Not to disrespect him,
So if you have your own
but to have my
independence,
own, if I want to pick up, say we have children, if I want to pick up the kids and go such and such, I can. I don't have to be oh babe, like should we go halves on this? And no.
But the two are mutually exclusive though, right? Like you can still, you don't have to earn more than your significant other to be able to afford your own.
True, but if you do,
that's a
then
very
it's
good
just
point.
more of like a pulling power of like.
Yeah, see, like, it's
power.
kind of like you like the vim of it. Do you know what I
If
mean?
I want to buy a Bentley, I can buy my
You want to be in
Bentley. Like
control
it's
of the
not.
guy, isn't it?
I don't think it's
No,
control. I think she's trying to say that she
control. I'm not saying control of the
doesn't
guy.
want to be like having to like.
To rely on the guy too much. He can do it
I
alone.
respect that. I rate that.
Of
That's
course.
exactly what it is.
But I rate that.
You want a guy, you don't need a guy.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
exactly that.
Right.
But it's not control over the guy. If he can have his own and then I have mine, maybe it's just a bit more.
Okay, interesting.
Wait, like before anyone else steps in, I would like to hear Jermaine's opinion about this. Because
Oh boy.
in episode 1, he was very
Oh,
like.
receipts.
So this is some of the comments I've been getting. It's like caveman. So let's hear from the caveman. Let's hear from the caveman. Go on.
Wow.
Huh?
Caveman, go on.
He's
I
nervous.
don't like the spotlight now.
Bro, this spotlight is on, caveman.
The woman can't earn more than me, man. That's
Wow.
Oh wow, that's powerful.
So now that we got that,
yeah.
I want to hear the females' reactions to that.
Okay, so obviously you'll have an opportunity to expand on what you've just said, but
Yes.
I'm taking what you've just said in isolation, right? Because that's
Okay.
what you've just said to us. Your woman can't earn more than you. Okay. In a world where tomorrow is not predictable, in a world where, particularly in the black community, if you look at the statistics, black women are in employment far more than black men are in employment,
Sure.
which means that
Yeah.
more often than not, black women are probably earning more than black men in this day and age. If you're looking for a woman in industry, for example, a lot of the time she'll be earning a good salary.
Yeah.
Now, I work in finance. I earn what is considered a good salary
salary,
in terms of like my counterparts. I've dated men majority of the time where I'm earning more than them because of the job that I have. Now, it's not something that...
How have they dealt with that in those
It's
situations?
been different. I'd say the worst situation I've had is just the guy feeling as though he constantly had to pit himself against me in
what
particular
happens.
things. Like, I'm all for healthy competition within
Yeah,
relationships
yeah.
because I feel as though it's important to kind of, like it says in the Bible, for example, like iron sharpens iron. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really important to antagonize each other in a positive
Healthy
way.
competition is good.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but when it's toxic competition or like there are little sly comments, you know, people just trying to pit the other person down. That's where I have an issue with it, because unfortunately you can disagree with this statement as far as you like, but I feel as though the common male ego is very fragile, and when it comes to honestly, no shots, but I think statements like what you just said is an example of the manifestation of the fragility of the male ego. Like to say that my man can't earn more than me. Why is that?
I'm coming from a place where I've seen my uncles, like family members, get married, and well, there's one who's been in a situation like that, and when they the breakdown.
But what do you think
it was
caused
this-
that? Like what?
No, but even before we say the cause behind that,
Yeah.
how? Like, look at the age they grew up in. Like, they grew up in a total
And the
different
culture.
time.
And
the culture.
many aspects, and let's be real, many aspects of traditional African culture are also very toxic.
Yeah, they are toxic. They're
And need to be done away with.
They're the anti-feminists. They're
Anti-feminist. Anti-tribal. I wasn't happy with that.
Let's be real about it. We live in the 21st century. Like, we live in a different world altogether. We need to move on with the times. I feel like one of those things are like, men need to accept that there's going to be cases where women are going to earn more than them.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
as
how
long as
do
they're
you
respectable
I
with it
would
as well.
love a situation
But
like that.
what does that look like? What does that framework look like in terms of, as you said, as long as they're respectable?
Yeah, but you know, when they're making purchasing stuff, they still run it by you, like at least considering.
It sounds like control.
It's not control because you still have to be a man in your household, don't you?
Do you know what?
You don't want to be a man in your household.
I'll be honest with you. My household is going to be run on values. So like, man, woman, like, yeah, sure, I'm the man. Like, I'm gonna like make sure the household is in order. But does it have to be like financially, or like, does it have to be that? Like, or is it just me protecting the house? Like, You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think financial.
I bet.
But that is the traditional role of the man, isn't it?
What's that?
Being the provider.
Unfortunately, it's becoming more uncommon.
Of course, so men now need to adapt to that, as you guys are saying.
Including the ego too. The ego also needs to adapt to the dynamics are changing. That yes, once upon a time,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Once upon a time, women can go out to work. Once upon a time, equality in pay was not a thing. Once upon a time, the woman was purely the homemaker, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that setup. To each their own. Absolutely. I feel every household needs to do what works for them.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm very traditional in my views anyway. Like, yes, I earn money. I have no desire to be a stay-at-home mum, but if I, as in to be a stay-at-home mum only, but let's say I had children today with, let's say I was married and I had children today with my husband, I would absolutely take time off work and raise the child, for example, which means that, we'll shift into a dynamic where, my husband is the predominant breadwinner, so on and so forth. I personally like the idea of my husband being bigger than me in every way, like being bigger than me in stature, being bigger than me in patience. I love that.
No, but I agree.
I love it, but unfortunately, it's not always the case.
No, but she's saying in stature.
I'm actually saying in every way. I love the idea of, and again, it's nothing on me. Let's say I'm earning £1 million. Oh my God, I want my husband to earn 2 mil, 10 mil, 50 mil. Like whatever I earn, it's not something that I'm, pitting against him. I have kind of adjusted my mind to the idea that it is likely that, a woman can earn more than her husband. Especially with, and I reiterate, the industry that I'm in pays a lot more than other industries, and that's fine. But no one knows tomorrow. Like, I, God forbid, could lose my job today. But same thing, if my husband's earning more than me today, he can lose his job tomorrow. And then, like, dynamics change, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel as though, I think you made an interesting point that you said, as long as she's respectful with it. Now, you didn't really elaborate on that, but I do feel as though I agree with you to a certain extent, and I'll define that from my perspective. So for example, if I was earning more than my husband in a house, there are ways that, people can throw their weight around, like they walk into a room, they switch off the TV, watching, are you paying the bills? Or, you know what I mean?
I don't want any of that.
I feel are very toxic, very damaging to relationships.
No, but sorry, if that happens, don't you feel like you're with the wrong person?
But the thing is, like, a lot of the time, there's no way to kind of see that trait in someone until you get there.
No, but you should. I feel like you should know, like, the values of the person. Like,
but people can change.
There are some people before you put the ring on, now you see the real colours. But before that, they're doing everything that you want that they want you to see.
I mean, if like you should, like, I feel like before you put the ring on someone in the first place, you should be able to hash out these problems.
We're all
unless you put the ring on after like a few dates or whatever.
It's not everything.
I was gonna say sometimes you can be
sometimes. But before you put that ring on, boy, how are you gonna know?
Okay, so guys, fine. You guys have given your opinions on like what you think about earning more than your significant other, but let's throw a little bit of a curveball into it. Let's say the gap was high. Let's say he's on 20k, you're on 100, 150k. And you're effectively. Do you know what I'm laughing?
Why?
She said 150. I thought, fuck. That's different.
I can't even look at myself in the mirror. I can't even look at myself. I would gladly remove myself from that situation.
Wow.
What do you mean? 20 to 150. Oh,
so let's say.
I think there are factors involved in this.
That could never happen.
Oh, you wouldn't. It's not realistic. It's not realistic, is it?
It can happen.
That can never happen.
Here we go.
I completely disagree.
I
completely disagree with that.
150 now.
I'll tell you why. Listen, I don't think it's a binary thing. I'll tell you why. For me, it's much more nuanced. What is he doing that he's earning 20k? If you're telling me my guy has started his own business, for example, he's been running, it's in the first 2 years or first 5 years or whatever, where, a lot of the time, the first 5 years are the most complicated and volatile part of most startups fail in the first 5 years. If you're telling me he's at that stage and he's earning 20k at the end of that,
then that's all right.
I salute your graft.
So
I salute your graft. I'm more than happy to be earning
We're talking
150k.
salary though.
No, but wait.
Yeah, but if he's able to take a 20 grand salary at the end of the year from running his own thing, that's something to his own name that he can pass on to our children. I am so down for that.
I agree with
I'm
that.
so down for that. I don't care what I'm earning in comparison to him.
I guess my question
He
is
can
then, is the mindset more important for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the mindset and it's the action. Mindset in isolation is not enough. The works need to back up the mindset. So I'm not here clinging on to potential because I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm not here to mold you. Your mum should have done that. You know what I mean? That's the job of your mother and your father. That's not my job. But I'm saying, like, if I can see the initiative, the graft, and I can see that it's paying off, there's a journey. Allow a journey to unfold. Not everything happens in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? If he's earning 20k, I'm earning 150k. In the next 10 years, he can be
earning way more
the next Jay-Z. And I'm still here on 200k, 300k. Like, whatever. Like, today doesn't necessarily equate to tomorrory. I agree with
that.
Alright, so let's say for instance.
No, wait, let's actually
you gave a good instance.
She's really quiet on this one.
Let's go ahead.
For me, it can't work. Like, I get it, okay, yeah, he's running his business, whatever. But when I said, okay, yeah, it's okay for me to be earning more, that's fine, but there's levels, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, I like nice things. I want nice things in life. I like nice things. I like to be, I don't know, like taken care of in a sense. So if I'm going out and I have to buy most things myself because he's on whatever, it's just not really gonna work. But I get it. I do get, okay, fair enough. If he's got his own business, if he's doing this, if he's doing that, and he's trying, then I get that. But I don't know. If not, then it's a no. Like, yeah.
So you girls are saying, like, if it's only in the situation where if they've got their own business.
I think they're saying the mindset. And
the mindset. Okay, but what if it was behind the person? But what if it was just, maybe he's not an entrepreneur, maybe.
If he's lazy,
maybe he just enjoys what he's doing. Maybe he just has a job, he enjoys it, and he's okay being like.
He's okay earning 20k and he enjoys it. And he's employed by somebody else. That's laziness and lack of ambition.
But
I think so.
I've married the wrong person. If that's his mindset, he's okay and he's just comfortable. That's absolute nonsense. That can't be the father of my kids.
Mad.
That's terrible.
To be honest, that's cat. That's no cat.
I would agree with that.
So there's no chance of you guys ever getting with like a bin man that loves doing his job, for example.
Bin man had decent money though.
A bin man that he loves being a bin man and he just wants.
He says, "Yo, this is what I love doing." There's no way you're pulling me out.
Ambition.
Bin men actually earn quite good.
That's what they do. Yeah.
I think one thing I will say is I've been in both scenarios, and the scenario that I do prefer is obviously my first point of how like I was earning more. I do like that because maybe I'm just bossy. I don't even know. But with the whole like the whole earning more thing when he's like lower, blah blah blah, like that low. It's okay, but the okay doesn't last, if you get what I mean. So like, okay, you can be fine with it for maybe a year maximum, but then when it gets over that stage, like, so basically there's a time limit on it.
Yeah, it has to be transitionary, right? You can't be comfortable in
how long will she support you?
Otherwise, it's gonna become very stale. Like, this is like mediocre now. Like, what is this type of thing? So it's not that I'm being shallow with it. It just has to progress.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. You can't be comfortable with mediocrity.
No, okay, that's fine. But like, let's just say this guy, he's ambitious, this and that, and it just doesn't work out for him. He's just an unlucky person. Like, you know, he has all the ambition. Like,
give us an example. What's he tried doing?
You can say trying. How long did he support the man's dream? How long?
Listen, no one is Mother Teresa, so we need to actually like.
So he started his business in year one. Yeah. I'll give like real case example, right? Okay. Year one, he earned 20,000.
Wait, through his own business?
Through his own business.
Okay.
Yeah, recession happens.
Yeah.
And everything goes.
Okay.
And like he's dead broke, like he has nothing, and he gets to year 3 and he needs to like regroup himself. Would you be like willing to like help him out, or like, you know, or is it just nah?
Well, if he's my husband
Yeah.
I've said for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer.
And
So.
also, I think you have to think what they will do for you. So, for instance, like me now, like I said at the beginning, I left my job. I'm now like I'm doing my own business, whatever. I'm self-employed. So I have to also think of it. If that was me, if I was the guy, because that is me now, I'll have to think, would he do the same for me?
Yeah.
So like my partner now is doing the same for me. Would I do the same for him? Yes.
I thought you were about to say if he's watching this.
That would have been.
I would do it for him. But I think, like, I don't know, like maybe I'm not always going to be in this position, but then maybe, you're right. Maybe after 2 years, something might happen, recession, whatever, and I might fall back. And
yeah, I mean,
you're right. You have to think realistic.
That can happen, especially in this.
That would be a very awkward moment.
That's why I don't feel like we should be putting so much emphasis on like who earns more.
Yeah, I should.
Like at the end of the day, it's a partnership. Like your money's my money anyway.
Yeah.
My money's yours, so I don't think it's that deep. But like, what about when it comes to how the money is actually shared out? So let's say there is a situation where I'm earning twice as much as my husband is earning.
Right.
Well, when it comes to the bank account, when it comes to like a bank account situation, again, very bespoke thing. Like couples do what they want to do, but what are you guys' thoughts on that? Is it kind of like, oh, she has her separate account, I have my account, or we have a joint account and we each have separate accounts?
That's how mine is like. I've got my account.
Yeah.
My girl's got her account.
Yeah.
And then we have a joint one for.
And what's the setup for the joint account? You both deposit an equal amount?
Yeah. Every like month or something.
You know, that doesn't sound believable.
You know what? I'm laughing because Jermaine, this sounds too. What's the word I'm looking for?
Boy, you have to run it like a business, man.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Your relationship seems like a business.
That money side.
It seems
that
like a
money
corporation.
side. No.
It seems like
when
you're
it
running
comes
it
to
like a
money is like that.
corporation.
Yeah, because look, we have cash flow projections, we have balance sheets, we have balance sheets, we know what projections.
Serious.
Cash flow projections.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, hell no.
I'm not joking.
So there's a so do you have a balance sheet as well?
Yes.
Balance sheet,
Joint
profit
balance sheet.
and statement as
We don't
well.
do P&L. We just do cash flow and
Cash flow forecast.
When are you gonna start doing P&L?
Do you have break even analysis as well?
No, when are you gonna do P&L?
You've got to do these things.
I mean, I get it, but like jointly, is it that deep jointly?
So you're marrying her, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay,
She's watching this, you know.
Okay, yes.
I mean, if you're taking it that far on the financial level,
married.
It's been
that's
6
you.
years, isn't it? So obviously you start to merging things together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. I've never done that ever.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, though.
With my
Like,
partner.
financial planning is important.
No, that's important, but together, that's really cool.
And you know what? That's interesting because I was actually going to segue into that and say, so like, how open would you be with your finances with your partner? Like,
I'm very open. I've just said
like
it.
Jermaine, you already know my man has joint balance sheet projection. What do you think about that, Cherise?
Me? I think it makes sense. Like now you've said it. At first when you said it, I thought, okay, that's a bit extra. But now it kind of makes sense.
But so
Because like, if you're with that person
what
for a
you
long
doing?
Yeah, if
time,
you've got serious intentions,
you need
then,
to be doing something together. But I would have thought you would have had a different mindset because you're very like traditional and you know.
I didn't even say I'm traditional. I'm coming across that way.
Okay.
The way you're asking the question.
You're a caveman.
No.
You're a caveman.
Nah. It's good.
No, but even I'm very open with my boyfriend about my finances. I know exactly how much he earns. He knows exactly how much I earn. He knows what's in my savings pot. I know exactly what's in his savings pot. It's not a thing.
I would have thought though it would have been more the other way around. 'Cause as a girl, I think it's okay to like, I don't know, like maybe share things. But in my head, most guys are a bit more maybe protective of their stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of cool that you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
so open.
Yeah.
No, but
Well, I'm not married yet, so if
So I think also like we did mention like a lot of the times why relationships break down is because of finances.
people not being open or transparent.
So I think being transparent and open with money in general and talking about it, understanding each other's habits and everything will probably help in the long term, especially if you're looking to take it that bit further. So I think it's very important generally. So like it's funny because there's people who someone was telling me a story about a guy who's with a girl that earns way more than him, and he's just keeping up appearances and stuff like that because
that's sad.
When I hear those stories,
but these things do happen.
It does.
And I guess maybe for those kind of reasons, the guy might be, less open about his finances because he's obviously trying to keep up this facade.
Yeah, but that's just exhausting for the guy. Like you can keep up a facade for a certain amount of time. So now when it comes to what if he wants to marry her and she wants this lavish wedding that she's assuming he can afford and he's just there on his knees, like now what?
That's also just a bit embarrassing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. I do not understand the concept of people taking out
Bank
loans.
loans, yeah. But it happens.
So this is another
insanity.
thing.
What's that?
What about downplaying what you've got? Like
Sometimes I feel like that's quite smart, you know.
what about downplaying what you've got? Like,
Yeah, that
in
would
a
make more
sinister
sense.
way.
You can do that too.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But okay, so that was actually good for me. You mentioned like the bank loan stuff because what about like debt within relationships and you hear stories about people getting with like their significant other and eventually they find out that they're in debt and some of them choose to like help their significant other pay it off. Jermaine, you gave us like your story and how you turned it around.
like last time.
Oh, really?
Let's be specific. Let's be specific about that. Because
Your mortgage
He's
is
talking
a
about
debt.
business.
Okay,
Yeah.
mortgage is a debt.
Yeah, of course
Business
it
loan is a debt.
Yeah. Okay.
So like we need to be
Like
specific.
personal loans.
Personal, like credit
Yeah,
cards.
with the
or
loans
Let's talk
for me.
about bad habit debt, like.
credit cards, like just.
No,
yeah,
but debt.
yeah.
No, but
Listen,
credit card debt
credit
might not
card-
be a bad debt if it depends on how
Let me
it's
give you an
spent.
example. Airbnb was founded with a credit card. Is that a bad debt? Like looking back at it now? No.
I actually didn't know that.
It's about their spending.
Wow.
If someone is in
Yeah.
debt because they
bought a
have
car
been
or
exactly.
something like that, then yeah, that's
Or they've
wrong.
been trying to keep up appearances,
Appearances,
or
yeah.
they've been like wearing their Giuseppes and Louboutins
Yeah.
and
Like I said last time.
and all of that nonsense, but they're still living in a council flat in the middle of southeast London, sleeping on a bunk bed shared with their brother or sister. Then that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, you're not ready for seriousness. You're not
Yeah.
ready
No,
to
you're
be
not.
a boyfriend, let alone husband
No.
or father. So that kind of stuff, I don't want anything to do with you in a romantic sense in the first place because you're not even ready to handle yourself, let alone
Very
bring me
sensible,
into your picture.
Yeah.
But if it's debt, as you said, if it's like
good
what I would
debt,
describe as
basically.
functional debt, you know, it's leading or has led to, you know, some form of investment
Yeah,
or
it's
growth
good,
or whatever.
yeah.
I'm down,
Down
man.
for
Let's
that,
do
yeah.
this.
Has any of you been in a situation where you've been with someone and maybe it's put you in a adverse situation, debt-wise, basically?
Been
No.
in a relationship situation.
Yeah.
What, that their debt has affected you? Or what?
Yeah, or something like that.
No, I think everyone should handle their own debts. I would never put myself in that situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I'm actually not gonna come and pay somebody's debt. Like, no.
even
married
if the
to-
girl, even if I was in debt, I feel like I would pay my own debt. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect my partner to pay my debt. That doesn't really.
I mean, unless he was
It's
some
kind
sort
of
of like
embarrassing.
business mogul and he just thought, you know what,
Yeah.
You just clear it.
I'll happily accept that. I'll be like, come on, babe.
Yeah, unless if it was
Go
rich, rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But I'm not gonna come out here and like break my back to pay off someone else's debt.
Wow. You see that, yo, man?
No, it's the truth though.
no, but it doesn't make
Why
sense.
should you?
but
Like, people shouldn't have those expectations anyway.
Again, I believe you're talking about the bad debt, no, the bad debt, like the
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
I agree.
No,
with
I'm
that.
not sure about any debt. Good debt, bad debt. Genuinely, people should handle their own debts. It just makes no
No, but
sense.
what if this business
Was I there when you
eventually?
took it
What
out?
if this business eventually, like, enables you to live a better lifestyle?
Yeah, that's
Would you-
great.
would you
But then by that point, surely by that point, that debt would have been paid off, right? Because the whole point of you leading a better lifestyle is that it's led to profit.
Donald Trump is in debt that he can't afford to pay back.
Well, yes.
I think honestly, sorry.
Just saying.
I think
Yeah,
honestly,
it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say I think honestly with that, it's like a case where they might not have the actual plan properly. So say they have a business and they've got debt on the business, they need to follow the business plan. You can't be like getting money. People like, yeah, help me, because you can't do that, you know.
But I think the funny thing is that I think it's like only 10% of business plans actually goes as planned.
Okay, that's true.
90%, like, even good or bad businesses, doesn't really matter. 90% never follows the plan. Like,
Oh yeah. You have to adapt to the environment.
you have to adapt to the environment. That's my view.
Some of these questions I don't even know that I can answer definitively, because I feel like there are things I'd be willing to do within marriage that I absolutely would not be willing to do for even a fiance.
That's true.
I'm being very, very serious. I'm being very, because it's not real. I'm still single in the eyes of the law unless I am married.
Yeah.
So I do not need to be intertwining my finances. I do not need to be intertwining debt. You know that song, I wasn't with you shooting in the gym. So why am I with you to pay this up? Like, why do I need to be with you to pay your gym subscription? Like, it doesn't. Like, it's just not how it's just not how it runs for
And
me.
living with a guy that you had to do those things for.
That I paid off debt for.
No, not debt, but just like support their lifestyle.
So I used to have Mother Teresa complex. Like I've been in.
I need one of that.
Whoa! Did that really happen from Kate, man?
LOL, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll say the closest I've been to that kind of thing is I was in a relationship. This was literally like the first thing I could really call a relationship or situationship, I think is the best way to describe it. Super young, super naive, still in my like late teens, and I was just like finessed by a guy who wanted to take out a car and all this kind of jazz.
No.
Yeah. And like just finessed by some guy that wanted to take out a car, kind of convinced me that, oh yeah, we're good for your credit, all this kind of jazz. Literally knew nothing about credit or the implications of anything at that point in time, because I was literally like in first year of university or something, and stupidly went through with it. Didn't end well, and like now, see, this is the thing. Like it's a completely separate topic, but this is why like our educational system is completely flawed and just out of date, because I don't understand why I'm learning about Pythagoras theorem, but I don't know about how to build my credit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, so that situation didn't end well, but I found out because I was on scholarship for university, I had money. So in that whereby he wasn't keeping up with payments on the car, this thing is in my name, so it's in my interest to pay it whether or not you're paying me the money. So I'm like paying off this car. Bear in mind I'm not even insured on it. Like I haven't sat in the driver's seat once. And then the car now gets repossessed because he's driving uninsured and all this nonsense, and that's a default in my name. Yeah, because it's a breach of contract, so drive without insurance, so the finance then goes into default, and then that's a default in my name. So I then had to go through the process over a period of years of building up my credit. Now I'm in a decent position. It's fine. If I wanted to get out a mortgage, I absolutely could. But like that is the closest I've been to that kind of situation. And but that wasn't by choice. That was through being finessed. And then
where did you meet this person? This is a Tom Scott.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like,
this is beyond what I've heard before, man.
No, but the thing is, it happens. And to be fair, like I good friends with the guy now. Like it's really not a thing.
And he can live with himself.
You're a great person.
That's between him and God.
You're a great person.
Has he at least changed his life around? Like
I don't know. The guy isn't. He's not a bad person. He was.
He sounds like a terrible person.
We were both very young and dumb. Like that. That's the reality of the situation. But yeah, as I said, like we're good friends now. He's a cool cat. Like it's fine. But that's basically the closest I've been to kind of having to deal with somebody else's debt. But that wasn't me like trying to be savior of the day, like, oh my gosh, you need help, let me help you. No, that was me thinking, oh yeah, no, I've been finessed into this situation, this is going to be good for me. And then someone else was not keeping their end of the bargain. And then I found myself in a position where I was now covering somebody else's debt, which now has all been paid off. But
and this was a car, you said, right?
It was a car, yeah.
What car was it?
Finance. It was around the region of 20k. It was a Mercedes.
And he's like just walking around happy
scot-free,
you know.
That is absolutely.
I don't know what I need to do with this point.
Listen, I have no criminal record.
He's a cool cat, you know. We're just young and dumb.
Wow, that's mad. I don't know.
I
don't know. I actually don't. I've got no. That story has kind of thrown me. Like you never hear of guys finessing. It's always the other way around, right? Like it's usually the girl that finesses.
Have you ever finessed?
There must be a story.
You know what we mean. Answer the question, girl. Answer the question.
Do you know what it is? I don't think it should be called finessing. Simply because I think guys are silly. Guys are stupid. So it's like it's a case where it's like things can be so obvious. Like I don't know, like I don't really have many examples myself, but for example, say there's like a pretty girl or whatever, and then like a okay looking guy, but he has money, and then he flies her out, whatever. It's like, are you being finessed or are you just going along with this stupidity? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
So what word did you use to describe that then, if not finesse?
Taking advantage, maybe? Or taking advantage?
No, I think it's just going with the flow. Yeah, taking the opportunity. That's
but you don't. Wouldn't you feel like a bit like wrong doing that? Like to me, it just sounds wrong. It just sounds wrong.
Wrong on the girl's part, wrong on the guy's part.
Like sometimes, just because someone offers something,
nice.
you shouldn't like accept it. Like,
why not? I don't get it. Why not?
Basically, I think the problem here is obviously when guys offer, they have some sort of expectation.
Yeah, they have predetermined expectations. That's stupid. That's silly.
That's true.
Do you know what? Sometimes you make your intentions or lack thereof of your intentions very clear to a guy and they just don't budge.
Exactly.
I know. I'm not saying it's right, nor am I advocating for it, but I know girls who have guys' names saved as like Michelin star restaurants. And it's like, whenever this one calls or wants to meet up, this is where we go.
I'm not gonna lie, that's happened to me before.
Really?
Oh,
wow.
Tell us the story.
What word were you? SDK.
I'll say there's free food apparently.
What restaurants did you take it to?
I don't want to disclose that. It's a place that I don't even like going to. It's one of those places because I'm a simple guy. I like going Nando's. I like my KFC. I like my chicken and chips. That's the sort of guy I am. Like, you know.
Okay, can I just ask you a question? Did she ever were you dating? Did you do anything sexually?
Listen, there was end product at the end of it.
Right.
Of course, I gotta get my money.
If there wasn't,
wow.
Who's the king man now?
I'm talking about money.
Of course.
To be honest, I think like a lot of guys have been finessed.
yeah.
If you haven't been finessed, you're lying.
Easy, I know you've been finessed. Come on. Let it out.
I've been finessed. Jermaine is probably maybe the only guy that's
Have you
probably
been
never been
finessed?
finessed.
No,
This guy is frugal.
Let me tell you this story one time. Me and Jermaine went to McDonald's one time, yeah?
What?
We went to McDonald's, right? We went through the drive-thru, right?
Yeah.
And I was paying for our meals, right? So I paid for my meal, fine. And Jermaine tried to pay for his meal, and his card got declined. It's like, wait.
Just airing him out like
You're gonna give me like this,
And he said, wait, let me just transfer money into my payment account. And he literally did it there and then, and he paid for it. I was like,
that is so funny.
I was like, this guy manages everything to a T. Yeah.
So guys, I've got a question for you. Like, how much do you care about your woman being financially literate? Like, do you want her to be super clued up about investments and the wisest things to put money in and stocks and shares, ISAs, ETFs, mortgages? Like, is that something that comes into consideration with how serious you take someone? Because particularly with you, Jermaine, actually, because from the angle, because you have I'm not even. It's not even no shots at all. I'm genuinely just interested in the different.
Say it with your chest.
I'm genuinely just interested in the different perspectives because, as someone who, for example, you would struggle with the idea of your woman earning more than you, or
At the
like
same
you
time,
have
you
more.
gotta build her up as well.
Absolutely, that's my thing. But in the midst, but then in the midst of building her up. But let's say, but in the midst of building her up, let's say it was a big thing for you and you wanted her to be financially literate and then you kind of, trained her up in that way and then she just went all guns blazing with it and turned and flipped over her money into an M.
She's doing that now and I'm becoming a bit worried now.
But don't you think that's a bit of a problem? Because it means that you're only happy with her elevation as long as it's below yours.
No, She okay, let me admit this. She earned actually more than me this year because she does other stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
So I'm not a caveman, like you know what I'm saying.
I respect.
But it wasn't significant enough.
It wasn't.
to end it.
No. This is 6 years now, man. So it's not.
I would have thought it'd be sexy for a guy like.
It is. I'm just watching
it's killing it.
this
Yeah.
develop
That's
now.
great.
And it's like wow, like I need to step my game up now because.
Yeah, but that's
No.
a good feeling.
It
You
is,
don't want
it
to
is,
feel
it is.
complacent in a
No.
relationship. No?
I don't, because obviously the gap's still respectable. But if you move to the 150-20, it's a different story. But yeah, I mean, she's been very well. Very.
And then, God forbid, you lost your job tomorrow. What would you expect of her?
Where? Well, to support if she wants, innit?
And if she wants.
So it's not
Yeah, I can't expect her to carry me if I'm down.
Guys, I just wanted to go back to the question I asked before. Like, how important is it to you guys for your woman to be financially literate? Like, is it a thing for you? Do you care whether or not she knows about good investments and best ways to handle money, to reap return? Or is that not one of the things you're looking for when it comes to what you deem to be a good woman to be with?
I find it sexy. I don't know about you guys, but I find it sexy because it's like I work in finance now, and finance is obviously one of my interests, and just having someone in which I could even just have that kind of conversation with is very stimulating. So it's good because I feel like if she's financially literate and we're both financially literate, then
It's something that you would do together, isn't
So then
it?
do you care if she's not, is more the question.
I don't know how to take a deep breath because, like, I'm just trying to. I'm looking at like my past relationships, and obviously that was a while ago. But the girl I was with at the time, I wouldn't say she was like financially literate at all, or finance was her interest at all. And a lot of girls that I've probably like dated. When we have conversations, I've noticed the ones that are actually financially literate, we have a better conversation.
More to talk about.
Whereas the other ones, the conversations don't really engage me sometimes. So it depends. So I don't know. That's a hard one for me. I'm kind of on the fence. It depends. She needs to have.
So it would be a deal breaker, for example.
No,
like you
I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker.
Because of that?
No, it's not a deal breaker. But I'll say she needs to have like other qualities that will compensate.
Okay.
Can I just say something? There is like levels to be like financially literate. So like obviously people can know how to save or whatever, but not everyone knows stocks.
How to invest.
That's
That's what
there's levels.
I was going to touch that. And let me actually touch that exactly. Like, so, for example, her being able to save money, to me, that's a financially literate skill.
Yeah.
I can work with that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
But
100%.
That's like the base case. As
Yeah,
long as that's there.
Just manage your money well.
And like again, like I invest a lot of money, like, so I'm not gonna lie, like, and I doubt, like, well, you never know, but like I don't expect my partner to be as interested in investing. Because I generally speaking find it really interesting. Like, for instance, like a lot of people go and watch all these music videos and stuff like that. I can sit up for 5 hours just watching investors talk about companies on a daily basis. I have no problems with that, but I can't expect that from her. If you see what I'm saying, because she might not find it as interesting as me.
I mean, I've tried with my girlfriend, but she's just not into that. But the money management side, she has it to a lot, so I'm happy.
That's good.
I mean, most people wouldn't be interested in that. Unless you find it fascinating, it's boring.
It is.
That'll be a very boring.
So I understand that. So like, I'm not going to force that on anybody.
All right then. Thank you guys for tuning into MBC podcast. This is His and Her Money Part 2 with our amazing female guests. We loved their views. Let us know what you guys think about it in the comment section. Sharice and Esther, I don't know if you'd like to give your social media.
Yeah, mine's Miss_Sharice. It's the same for Twitter, Instagram, and my YouTube channel.
Nice.
On my side, my Twitter is Esther Jim, as in JIMJIM. My Instagram is, I've got a weird name on Instagram, it's no name needed X. All one word, no spaces, no underscores, nothing. No name
No name needed.
Yeah. My social enterprise is Opened Palm. @Opened Palm on everything.
Make sure you like,
That's
comment,
it.
subscribe. This is MBC. It's been real.
It's real.
MBC. Money, banter, culture.
Like the cool